Hey everyone, welcome to Jason Explains Things. Just a couple days ago, I returned from a 700-mile long off-road journey along the Oregon backcountry discovery route. And now that I return and see the damage of how bad my truck looks, I realize I have a lot of work cut out to do. I've gotten my truck muddier before, but never quite this bad in terms of caked on mud, clay, bug guts, plant debris, and unfortunately, very heavy duty pinstripes. Some are in the clear coat and some unfortunately are through the clear coat. That one did something.
In this video, I'll cover how to safely wash your truck's exterior and undercarriage to remove debris. I'll show a 3-stage paint restoration and wax to remove or mitigate deep scratches. We'll restore scratched black plastic and clean up powder-coated metal surfaces. Then I'll wrap things up by covering important post-trip maintenance, including cleaning or replacing filters, and how to properly clean and maintain your synthetic winch line.
Before we jump in, let's do a detailed walk around of the truck so you can see what we're dealing with, so you can appreciate the results when we're done. Also, you don't usually want to do what we're doing today when it's this bright and sunny outside and hot. But unfortunately, it's in the high 90s and I can't control the weather, so let's get to work. It'll be fine. Taking a look at the front of the truck, the hood, we can see that we have hard water spots. We have several layers of caked on dust. Also, I might have been stupid and written ORBDR 25 on my hood, so we might have some scratches from that. Looking at the front, we have bug guts, and also you can see in my black plastic fender flares that those are all scratches. As you can see, those are all scratches embedded in the plastic. That one is especially deep. Looks like the snorkel got some scratches as well, but the same stuff that I used to treat that will work with this as well. The mirrors are bad. That's funny. Actually, at one point when we were going through a really tight part of the trail, the bushes actually were scraping this and then pushed it in. I probably should have just pushed it in myself before I went. Word to the wise on that. Some debris, let's see if we can see some. Yeah, over there's some plants. I can also see some rocks inside of the our transmission skid plate a little bit there. This one is especially bad. You can feel it with your fingernail that it is fairly deep, and it starts somewhere around here and it goes all the way from here to here. And then there's also this one that goes all the way from here all the way down to here, and then we also have this one that's very deep going from here to here. So yeah, this side is definitely the worst side. The back is not that bad in my opinion. It's just very, very, very dirty, but not bad. You know, no pinstriping happened back here. By the way, I absolutely love this new 12-volt outlet that I installed in the bed, as well as the bed stiffeners. These are awesome, obviously, for protecting the rigidity of your truck and your truck bed, but also they're excellent for tying down gear in the back of your truck and making it so much easier than just these and then stuff in the back. So I love bed stiffeners just for tying things down. Moving along here to the side, same story, just not quite as bad as the passenger side. Lots and lots of pinstripes in the paint, and then also scratches in the black plastic. Same amount of dirt and dust and grime and mud and so forth on the side of the truck. And then take a brief look on the inside here. It's not actually that bad. Marley and I did a pretty good job at not getting it too dirty in here. It's just a little bit dusty. Obviously the dash is dusty, but other than dust, it's actually not that bad in there. I really should have pushed the mirrors in before I went through the, what was it, Cache Mountain is what really did all of these scratches, but you know what, it is what it is. My truck is paid off. It's not a pavement princess. It's to be used for exploration, and that's what it looks like it's used for, and I love it for that. So my friends, what do you say we get started with this job? First thing we got to do is take a lot of the accessories off the truck because they get in the way of getting the job done. And then we need to cut back on all of the copious amounts of debris, because if we just tried to wash this right now, we would get our washing mitts dirty immediately. So let's first hop on over. We're going to cheat a little bit, and you can do this at home if you want to, but I'm going to go over to the Auto Spa, which is kind of my favorite car wash here in Central Washington. We're just going to cut down on how much crap is on the truck, and then we can get through the multi-stage process of restoring our paint, the plastic, the metal, all of it. And yes, that synthetic winch line. Oh, Mr. Quackers. You guys will find out more about Mr. Quackers in the full series.
My plan at the car wash was simply to use the high-pressure rinse and high-pressure soap to remove as much mud, dirt, bug guts, and debris as possible before washing the truck by hand. When your vehicle is this dirty, I do not recommend using the foam brush. I rinse the entire truck, including underneath and the engine bay, but being careful to only indirectly spray engine components. I then repeated the entire process again with the high-pressure soap, and then rinse the entire vehicle again. If you don't want to use a car wash, you can do this same process with a pressure washer. When you make a mess, it's always good to spray debris towards the drain. I worked at a car wash during college a million years ago, so I don't want to make anyone's day worse if I can avoid it.
That's still really bad. We are back from the car wash. The truck now looks worse than it did before because we can see how bad everything is. So next we're gonna do a very, very thorough, heavy-duty car wash. We're going to be using a foam cannon. We're gonna be using a pressure washer. We're gonna use the 2-bucket method where you have a rinse bucket for your mitt. Every time you wash the car, you rinse the mitt in the clean bucket, and then you go to your wash bucket with the soap. I'm also going to be using a soft bristle brush on a pole to clean the roof and underneath the rooftop tent without having to remove it. And we're going to go with the extra step of using an undercarriage washing attachment for my pressure washer to really make sure we get all of that mud and dirt. So the next time I go to do maintenance on my truck, I don't get like giant clumps of dirt in my face. I just get little bits of dirt in my face. And as far as products I'm using for this and other steps, go ahead and check out the description. I have everything listed for you. There's no sponsored brands here at all.
I waited until it was later in the day with indirect sunlight to prevent soap drying on the paint too quickly. I rinsed out my 2 buckets, filled the larger rinse bucket with water, and then mixed water and soap into the smaller bucket with a dirt guard. Rinse the vehicle from top to bottom with a pressure washer, using a normal or light-duty nozzle. Next, I used my foam cannon to cover the vehicle in foam. This keeps your wash mitt lubricated, and combined with the 2-bucket method, you're far less likely to add even more scratches to the paint during the wash. Clean from top to bottom, or least dirty to most dirty, using the soft bristle brush and microfiber wash mitt to hand wash the vehicle. Work in straight up, down, or left, right strokes instead of swirls. If you do scratch the paint by accident, straight scratches are much easier to fix than swirls. If your mitt looks dirty, even after rinsing it, switch to a fresh one. Work in sections and do a quick rinse per area, again to prevent soap from drying on the paint. Finish the wash by cleaning things like wheels, rock sliders, and the undercarriage. The Griot's Garage wheel and tire cleaner spray worked great. Apply the spray and then clean with either a brush or wash mitt and then rinse. This was the first time I'd ever used my undercarriage pressure washer attachment. It was very easy to use and did an excellent job. I was done cleaning underneath the vehicle very quickly. I wish I would have bought one of these years ago.
I really did a number on that truck. Oh, well, usually after, going off-roading or something, what I just did, that's probably all you'd need. Maybe a little bit of detailing spray, microfiber, towel, call it good. But I still see embedded dirt and clay in the paint. So I'm actually going to do what I just did again, dry the truck off, and then we're gonna pick up this video with the paint correction steps probably tomorrow.
Yep, I repeated the entire hand wash a second time. Do this only if necessary. I wrapped up the day cleaning the interior. I first vacuumed the carpet and seats.
Whoa! Seat covers doing their job.
And then blew them off using my air compressor, and then vacuumed a final time and wiped everything down with ammonia-free glass cleaner. Let's move on to paint correction. I'm going to do a 3-stage paint correction that I've had excellent results from in the past, especially on my classic Dodge Ram. I'll link to a video about that paint restoration below. First, we're going to clay the truck using both a synthetic clay pad and normal clay to remove remaining contaminants from the paint. Then I'll use Griot's Garage Complete Compound and an orange correcting pad with my orbital polisher to remove as many scratches as possible. Then I'll use Griot's Best in Show wax and a red waxing pad to get the paint looking its best. Apply clay lubricant or detailing spray to the paint and either the clay pad or the clay you're working with. Work in a grid pattern. 2 feet by 2 feet is a good rule of thumb. Glide the clay or pad along the surface of the paint, back and forth and side to side.
One thing you can easily feel is you can actually hear a rough feeling while you're doing this. And then once the clay is starting to get those contaminants out of the paint, you can actually feel it start to be smooth. It might not look perfect, but you're getting there. It's kind of what I can say. Now it feels still a little rough right there. But yeah, now it's feeling nice and smooth. So this is definitely doing its job.
Work an area until you no longer hear or feel contaminants in the paint. In general, the clay pad doesn't remove things as well as the old school clay, but it's much faster. So I saved using the actual clay for only the worst areas.
Claying the entire vehicle is done, so we can now move on to the complete compound stage with the orange pad. So to do that, I make 4 to 5 dots on the pad. I'm gonna work in this area right here. You just go blarp, 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 and have fun.
Like before, work in 2 feet by 2 feet sections in a up, down, left, right hatch pattern, using a slow or medium speed on your polisher with consistent mild pressure. Allow the compound to dry briefly, then wipe it off with a clean microfiber towel. Inspect the area with a flashlight and repeat if needed. Griot's Complete Compound does a great job removing small to moderate scratches and hard water spots. I was very impressed with the results on the hood. Let's polish the rest of the vehicle.
This is turning out to be a ton of work, very tedious. Detailed stuff takes time, and the more time you take, often the better results you have. I've done pretty much from here to the front of the vehicle, and it's actually looking really good. But we have this panel, which is by far the worst part of the entire truck. So I'm now gonna do this, and we're gonna see how good it looks. I don't think we're going to erase any of these scratches. I think we're just gonna make them less noticeable and make the paint more glossy, which will just kind of hide the scratches, but they're not gonna go away. For them to go away, we would need to hire a professional. Results in this area, I would say, are great. They are not magic. The scratches are still there, but as you can see, the paint is so glossy and clean that reflections do a great job hiding things. Substantially better. But yeah, there you go. You can still see. They're all still there.
I swapped to the new red waxing pad for the final stage. The process is identical to the polishing stage, except that this wax goes on and off very quickly, and the brilliant shine it produces was immediately gratifying. I'll save the final reveal for the end of the video, but let's move on to restoring the black plastic.
This is a very simple wipe on and off product that I've used now probably for about 1.5 years, and that is Turtle Wax Graphene Acrylic Trim Restore. All you do with this stuff is you want to wear gloves while you use it because it will stain your hands black, speaking from experience. Heavily wipe it on to a piece that you're trying to restore. Let it sit there for a little bit and then carefully wipe it off, and you will be surprised how much better this looks. And again, every product in this video, none of them are sponsored. I do have them linked in the description. If you use those links, it does financially help me make these videos at no extra cost to you, but I have purchased every single thing you see in this video at full price. Not one thing was free or even discounted.
I repeated the same process on all the fender flares, the snorkel, and the hood deflector.
We've got the paint and black plastic looking awesome, but there is still a lot of stuff on the truck that looks very dingy, and I actually used the same thing on all of them to make them look good. And that is actually, again, this is really weird, but once I discovered that this worked, I've done it ever since. We have coverall from Superior Products, mostly for tires, but also for wheels and tires, where you just kind of spray it on there like this. I kind of do like a circular motion to get in all the details like that, and then I do the tire like this. Let that kind of sit on there like that, and then I will use a microfiber towel and just wipe off kind of any of the excess, the dirt and that sort of thing. Doing the exact same thing looks awesome in my opinion on a powder coated front bumper, a roof rack, and several other things. So let's use this. Oh, and rock sliders too. The Steps rock sliders. This stuff makes them look really good. And the reason why I use this instead of other products like Armor All or something is because this doesn't attract a whole bunch of dust. Stuff doesn't stick to it. So it's a great detailing spray, especially for anything black or matte. Looks awesome, really love it, and it's also incredibly easy and fast to do. Dang, the truck is looking awesome. We're gonna have the final before and after reveal in just a second, but we got some really important maintenance tips that are very easy to do, and if you had similar circumstances to me, if you have a lot of dust or if you did any winching, you're gonna wanna do these steps also.
Let's get the hood open and check out the engine air filter and see if it's dirty. Yes, that's awful. So I replaced it with a new one from Winch. The cabin air filter is behind a small plastic cover in the glove box. I got that one out, and it was also terrible, so I replaced it. If you have an auxiliary fuse block like I do, it's a good idea to use some compressed air and blow it out so dust and debris doesn't accumulate inside it. And I saved one of the most important steps for last, cleaning your synthetic winch line. While wearing gloves, switch your winch's clutch to free spool and pull the line off the drum. Use a garden hose and rinse the line thoroughly and remove as much dirt as possible. Mix water and dish soap in a bucket and wash the line a few feet at a time, really working in the soap and water and get those fibers clean. Man, look at all that dirt. Now stretch that line out nicely and rinse with a garden hose. The line needs to completely dry before spooling it back onto the drum, so this is best left overnight.
It's the next day. The synthetic winch line is now dry, so now we're gonna move on to spooling it back on the winch. The best way to do this is actually with a buddy, which I'm using my awesome spouse, Amy. Hello, Amy. Hi.
With a friend or awesome wife applying constant tension.
All right, you ready? Okay, here we go.
Wear gloves and carefully winch the line back onto the drum, guiding the line back and forth across the drum to create neat, tight wraps. This will prevent any binding issues in the future. If the line happens to bunch up, simply stop, pull it out a little bit, and winch it in again.
Okay, pull up right there. Give me one more.
And with that, we are done. Let's see the before and after.
And with that, this project is done. Depending on the condition of your truck after a trip, maybe you have to do all of the same steps as me, or hopefully for you, not as many. To see how the truck got to that state, please watch my Oregon BDR series.
This video was filmed last year, so you can watch the entire Oregon BDR series right now, and it's linked for you in the description.
Leave a comment and let me know what you thought of this video, and until next time, God bless all of you, and don't forget to do it yourself.
We're driving our truck into the bushes.
We're driving it so all our pain goes away. La 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 la.